we promised you a good time, and then we pulled the rug out from under you, and we're like, have you thought about death yet today?
Welcome to Books in the Freezer, a podcast dedicated to the deliciously disturbing world of horror fiction. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today I am joined by my friends, Agatha, the host of the She Wore Black podcast, and podcast favorite, author Rachel Harrison, to talk about some read-alikes for some of our favorite artists. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks so much for having me.
Me too. Excited to chat music and books.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. It's just like a fun hangout. All three of us like music. We're friends. We love horror books. It just seems like a
It's
good
like
idea.
that. My hope is that it's like that picture, that meme that always goes around where it's the three people and someone sitting next to it with a cup of coffee. Like, I'm hoping these are the vibes that we're sharing. Everyone, join in the chat. We want your thoughts on tunes to books.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for this, we all picked a different artist, and we are each talking about three books and one of those artists' songs that we think would be good read-alikes. So who are you guys talking about today?
I chose Japanese Breakfast, which is one of my favorite bands. And I forget how I discovered Japanese Breakfast sometime in 2016, 2017. The band came on my radar, and I've been a huge fan ever since.
Nice. For the uninitiated, what would you say their vibes are? Like, what is the sound of Japanese Breakfast?
It's kind of
Genre.
hard to
I know.
describe. I mean, it's alternative indie rock, but I think what I love so much about their music is it feels epic and whimsical and cinematic. There's something kind of sweeping about the songs, and I think that's part of why I gravitate toward their music and why I think it's a good band for Readalikes.
Yeah.
When I listened to the songs that you sent us, I thought that atmospheric and whimsical were really good combos for them, because I feel lost in a whimsical cloud when I was listening to them. It was very atmospheric.
The lyrics are like it's interesting. There's like a juxtaposition of lyrics about grief and like growing up and love lost. But the songs are generally like can be pretty upbeat. And so my first pick, which we'll get into later, In Heaven, it's a heavy song lyrically, but listening to it, it sounds like, if you're not listening to the lyrics, you'd be like, oh, this is fun. Like
I love
Yeah.
that
I love
too.
that.
And that's why I thought about the Sundays. Like, for old people like me who might not otherwise know and who went digging, you'll know if you comp it to the Sundays, she sounds a lot like them, but it was the same thing. They would have these dark lyrics or complex lyrics, but it would be a very upbeat sound, or not even upbeat, but more like, yeah, just the same kind of vibes, like the free spirit vibes. And I was like, the juxtaposition was always so interesting to me. And so I love when I see that. The Postal Service does that a lot too. So
Yeah. Who are you talking about, Agatha?
I am 100% sure that everyone's going, oh, she's going to talk about PJ Harvey. But I'm not.
And they would be happy
Well,
about it.
I'm not going to, because I did make public that episode that you and I did together where I extensively covered PJ. So, I feel like people can go listen to that and it's, they'll get my fill of PJ, even though that was like, only just touching on her a little bit, not even the whole thing, but, and then I really thought about doing Mazzy Star because Hope Sandoval was definitely, like, my
Oh,
girl and still is, but,
yeah.
I'm actually gonna talk about Blind Melon. They sort of haunt me a little bit because I was at shows all the time in the '90s and early aughts, and I didn't get to see them because they came through
Mm.
Texas, and I had some tests. I couldn't pop over from Austin to Houston, because I had to study, and he died that night. So he died after the Houston
Oh,
show. So I didn't they were supposed to come back around and I was like, "I'll catch him on the second leg of the tour," and I didn't get to do that. So,
Oh my
in addition
gosh.
to being, one of my favorite bands from the '90s, and they are, and they stay with me. I still listen to them. Their 3 albums is all we got, but it was just one of those things where I never got to see them. So, I
yeah.
discovered them like the old once again being an old woman, I didn't have the interwebs, kids. I we discovered them like radio, MTV, Rolling Stone magazine. I mean, word of mouth. If they opened for a band that you saw, you just that's how we figured things out back then musically. So,
I'm really glad you picked them because I think my familiarity with them was really only Note Rain.
that's true for most people, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time you see anything else is whenever and usually it is No Rain, is when you see when you see young people, like, in their 20s doing those reaction videos, which I love to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, look, they're looking at the old people music from the '90s." And then you watch them because you wanna see how they react. So,
Yeah.
it's sort of like Lorelai Gilmore watching Luke watch a movie.
Yeah.
She would love reaction.
The train is not gonna come out of the screen. I picked Lucy Dacus because, I mean, all of these episodes are just a ploy to get people to listen to my Spotify top 5. Like, I did a Taylor Swift episode with you, I'm doing this. There's possibly a Mitski Patreon episode coming out in the future. Like, this is just a ploy for that. Lucy Dacus, I think people are probably most familiar with her through boygenius, which she's a part of with Phoebe Bridgers and Julian Baker, but they're all solo artists that do their own work. I can't remember when I discovered Lucy, but it was definitely Night Shift. And I definitely was through, the Spotify algorithm, the like, if you like this, check this out. And I just remembered I loved that song and the way it builds up and then going into her discography and the stuff that she puts out. It's just such good storytelling through lyrics and especially her like home video album. She just feels like relatable. You're like, I was this person or I knew this person growing up. Like it's just such relatable lyricism and she's a great musician.
She with what
So
you sent us, it was really clever lyrics, so I was really wanting to go and discover more of her myself. And her mention of Slayer just gave me like, "Oh, a connection." You know, speaking of '90s, saw Slayer in San Antonio in a bar.
Ooh.
Like, way back in the olden days, but I was like, "Oh, look at that. That's so clever," the way she incorporated that in there. And her videos made me
Mm.
wanna
Sh
paint.
sh
I was looking for my watercolors. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, she's inspired me to get my paints out."
like the one where they're all like painting each other or like the VBS like
The
animated one.
animated one, it was the colors she
Yeah.
was using. I was like, "I feel like
Yeah.
painting now."
I didn't know you painted.
I have an art degree. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So, I was an art teacher before I was a librarian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm very old. My stu
You're
Oh,
just
there
very
you
Yeah.
go.
cool. You're just like you just constantly reveal like some other like cool facet
Yeah.
to your backstory. Like when we were planning this podcast episode, she was like, "Oh, this is a picture of me like in a mosh pit."
Y'all, I have layers.
We unlock a little more like Agatha lore.
Johnny Compton's
Yeah.
like, "You always surprise me," because he was talking about Wu-Tang Clan, and I was like, And I said, "Oh, I saw Wu-Tang in 1995." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm not always it didn't pop out of the womb at 50." Like, I have a past. But we all do. I love figuring it out too. So, y'all do too. I'm just saying.
Not as cool as yours, though.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I speak for myself, not you, Stephanie. I don't mean to pull you into my nerdy backstory.
Oh my goodness.
Mine is more like religious culty, so it's like yours is
Yeah.
much cooler.
Well, that
You had like a
I don't wanna say religious cult is
No, it's
cool
not.
because it's traumatic, but, like, also to be like, "Yeah,
It's
I grew up in a
fascinating.
cult." Surface level is pretty
It's
cool,
fascinating.
you
And
know?
I'm so glad you did that episode. That was very brave for all of them, everybody involved.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Y'all go listen to that episode.
It's funny because we all just kind of laughed about it. It's one of those like trauma things.
Yeah, right.
Right.
What do you do except
Rachel wrote a whole book about religious traumas, which we'll talk about twice today, I think. This is how relatable you are. We each have comps for you.
I thought you were just being nice. I was like, "Oh."
Well, I wanna be nice to you, but man, they hit home for, I think, a lot of
Yeah.
people, I mean, I know one of the things with Blind Melon is they wrote a lot about this, and since you and I have talked about going to Catholic school, we have we have lots of thoughts, that we under
Yeah.
Is that Rachel lore we didn't know?
I didn't go to Catholic school, but I was
Probably right.
raised Catholic, and I went to, like,
Oh,
CCD
CCD.
and got my confirmation and all that, and then, got my extra middle name and never went back to
Wait, is that a
church.
part of it?
Yes.
Yeah, you get to pick a
I
confirmation
didn't know
name.
that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I just picked Elizabeth. I should have picked something crazy, but I feel like you can only pick a name of the saint, so
Mm,
it's like you can pick Anne or Joan,
that makes sense.
but I should have picked something. If there was like a metal Catholic middle name, I should have picked it. But yeah, see, this is my not cool backstory. I got to pick an extra middle name and I went with Elizabeth.
I picked Angelica as mine because I was like, "Angels, Angelica." They let me get away with it too, and it was like some horrible character that I was like saw on some movie or show or something. I was like, "That's cool. I'll go with that," because it was like the mean character. I don't know what was going on. This is what happens when they have you like say, "Yes, I'll be Catholic forever," when you're like 12. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
We don't even know how to get through
Nope.
school. Like, what are you having us talk about? Yeah. Anyway.
Too much
Yeah.
responsibility.
I was the person like knocking doors and be like, if you died today, are you 100% sure you'd go to heaven? Do you want to have this conversation at your front door?
That's a lot to carry as a
Oh,
child. That's a lot of weight.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, are we ready to talk about some books?
We're gonna talk more about this.
Now that we just to touch on our religious trauma, and now we'll dive right in.
Just setting the
Listen, I think 2 out
mood.
of 3 of my songs are religious traumas, so there we go.
This episode is brought to you by Fangoria, the world's best horror and cult film magazine since 1979. Listeners can use code BOOKSINTHEFreezer to get 20% off their order. That includes, of course, merchandise and first-time subscriptions and single issues of the magazine. Not only are there tons of articles and interviews about upcoming horror movies, there's a regular segment by Stephen Graham Jones all about slashers called Slasher Nation, so you're going to want a copy. So again, that is code BOOKSINTHEFreezer, and thank you, Fangoria, for supporting the show. I am going to say I am doing the hits. I am not doing Lucy Dacus deep cuts. Okay, so these are the hits. So my first one is Night Shift, which, like I said, I think is her most popular song and is how I discovered her. And I paired this with Cackle by an author. I can't remember who wrote this.
I hear she's a bitch. No, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Night Shift is a song about dealing with a breakup, which is the essential premise for Cackle. And the big lyrics are, "You've got a 9 to 5, so I'll take the night shift, and I'll never see you again if I can help it," which is essentially like, you can keep your life. I will change everything about my life because I literally like don't ever want to see you again. And I will change my life even to my detriment. As someone who worked the night shift for several years, like it sucks and it really messes your body up. And I had like health issues related to just like working the night shift for several years. So it is truly about like, I will uproot everything about my life to not have to deal with you, which is kind of what sets the scene. In Cackle, we're following Annie, who is moving to a new town at the end of her long term relationship. She moves to a city and takes a teaching job in a small town, leaving behind the things she's known and the person she's spent years building her life with. And this is all happening kind of as she's turning 30. So she's dealing with like, this is not what I expected my life to look like. As I'm going into my 30s, I kind of feel like I'm starting over and I had pictured us together. Like I had this clear picture of what my life was supposed to be, and this is not it. And so I just love all of that feeling. But there she meets Sophie, who is a mysterious stranger who inspires her to live her life unapologetically. Is she a witch? I don't know. But the townspeople have some feelings about. Back to Night Shift. In the song, she says, "In 5 years, I hope these songs feel like covers dedicated to new lovers." And it's about how, like, even though you're in a rough place now, soon you'll be like removed enough from this situation and healed enough that the art you made about being in that place is art that can be applied to like any situation. And I'm applying this more as like everything will be okay in the future, even though it seems really crappy right now in the thick of it. And I think Sophie is that person for her that helps her to navigate the aftermath with her relationship with Sam and to set some boundaries. And I think her relationship also helps her have something she thinks that she missed out on in her 20s with like investing in friendships, and because she kind of insulated herself with her relationship with Sam. And I do love, back to Lucy Dacus. So she released Night Shift, the song, and then 5 years later released the music video. So it's like she's saying in 5 years these songs will feel like covers dedicated to new lovers. Like she's beyond that now. Like she's now getting to have fun and make music video and make art about the art that she made when she was really going through it.
How meta. I love
It's
I
such a
love
good
this
video
Yeah.
too.
idea though. I mean, she had a plan. You know, yeah, that's fabulous.
So that is Night Shift by Lucy Dacus and Cackle by Rachel Harrison.
That's a good comp.
Yeah.
Approve.
I got the stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I chose Blind Melon for, or one of the reasons why, is because lyrically, he's really impressive. Shannon Hoon's really impressive. The album that came out after he died is basically a collection of songs that they sort of recorded. One of them is even on a telephone answering machine. So they just kind of gathered anything they could. And on the cover, it's a picture of a tattoo he has on his arm, and that tattoo is a poem that one of his ancestors wrote. And he said they just kind of found it one day digging through an attic in like a grandmother's house or something, and it made such a big difference in his life because he didn't connect to his town, he didn't connect to his family a lot, and he just kind of was like, "Oh, I connect to this. Somebody in my life was more than, just a bricklayer." In your young mind, this is what your thoughts are. He's like, somebody in my life wrote, or one of my ancestors wrote a poem. So lyrically, he's just always really impressive. When you start really going down and looking at what he was doing. So that's one of the reasons why I chose Blind Melon. And I chose Toes Across the Floor. It's one of my favorite Blind Melon songs. It was off their album Soup. And I'm comping it with Paulette Kennedy's The Devil and Mrs. Davenport. One of the things to note, Mr. Poet here was doing a little wordplay with the word dog and God, because dog is God spelled backwards, but dog is a service animal and it lives its life in service. So he uses them interchangeably with purpose. Keep that in mind whenever you're listening to what the lyrics are. So the reason why I'm comping it is because The Devil and Mrs. Davenport is Paulette's story that's mid-century horror. I've been waiting for it for a while. I love all things mid-century Gothic. And it's 1955. A woman named Loretta is married to a man who is a very aspiring professor at a Bible college in the South. And, they're supposed to be this perfect image, this perfect family. She starts hearing the voices of ghosts of women who've been murdered, and he starts to see it as a sign of the devil. And it starts to become this contentious, like the woman playing the part while also hearing these voices. And it feels a little bit like Carrie meets Shirley Jackson, which is, fun. And
Yeah.
so the lyrics that I'm particularly thinking about, so he says, I'd scrape my toes across the floor, this day's the same as those before. And though inside I'm feeling giddy, and in my mind I'm comping this with inside she's hearing these voices, I'm always wrong for never giving myself that uninvaded door, basically privacy. So I'll take a little glue and put together a new glittered room for you, which is interesting to me in the context of someone trying to put on a 1950s wife trying to put a perfect facade, you know? So I can sit so pretty instead of sitting here, not seeing clear, just sitting here, not fitting here. No, things aren't fitting here. The thing that I thought was really striking in the context of the religious horror that's in Paulette's book is where he says, now I'll just lay my head down beside this God of mine, and I'll let that perverted thought burn a hole in my mind. Oh, and if I can't lay my head beside this God of mine, then maybe the hunter's dog, there's that backwards thing again, called God, could be my friend in time. So, he grew up like we did in a, just kind of a Midwestern. I didn't grow up in a Midwestern town, but he just kind of grew up in a regular town, didn't identify with anything. Religion's always played a part there. And I think that that really connects with some of the things that Paulette was talking about, trying to put on a facade, trying to grapple with God and concepts of God and making other people happy with that and all of that. I mean, man, we talked about religious horror playing a part in or religion playing a part in a lot of these stories, and I think it will.
Yeah. I actually just finished reading this on NetGalley like this week.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you
She's
both.
so excited that it's on your radar now. I'm so happy for her. I've loved Paulette from the
Yeah.
beginning, and I'm just so, so happy that this book is, I think, going to get her a lot more traction.
Yeah, I really liked it, and Carrie meets Shirley Jackson was spot on, I think especially with her, like, domestic stuff that she wrote, like Life Among Savages and stuff like that, like, it was just like that.
Yeah, she did a lot of research on Shirley Jackson, and um, it was the idea for that book actually kickstarted with her mom. Her mom inspired that. Her mom was married very young, and she grew up in the Ozarks in a religious community and all of those things. So there's a lot of it's a very personal book for Paulette in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. So
I think, I mean, I was hyped for this book before, but the song pairing and just, you're right. It's Shannon's lyricism is just like so, you know,
yeah.
he's a poet.
Yeah.
Beautiful lyricism.
I love it. And that's one of the reasons why, even though they only have those 3 albums, I still play them 30 years later, all the time.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's interesting because like the lyrics don't have to be as
I
good as they
know.
are.
Yeah.
Because it's very like a, 90s, like, you
Yeah.
know, jammy, you could mosh to it, but like it's
Yeah.
very deep and profound. And yeah, I find it so fascinating and so layered. And again, I love like having the lyrics sort of not match
Yes,
the
as you were
Yeah.
saying,
the
yeah.
not match the And so you could just be rocking out and then all of a sudden catch a lyric and be like,
Yeah.
"Whoa."
I posted on Instagram or Threads or somewhere earlier, because we were gonna do this episode, um, a picture of his tombstone because it has a lyric from his song Change, which, he grappled with drug addiction. I mean, he'd ultimately died from a cocaine overdose, but he grappled with drug addiction in as much as he would try to kick it, but he'd put that line that a lot of people connect to in the song Change that says, I know we can't all stay here forever, so I'm going to write my words on the face of today, which is beautiful and gorgeous. But the
Yeah.
line that follows that actually changes everything, which is, and then they'll paint it. Because it's sort of like
Oh, wow.
you want to make your mark, but you know that it still does, like, it will still all be forgotten, or
Mhm.
we're still so
Yeah.
transient because, like you were saying, I mean, just think about Shannon Hoon was this big rock star and a lot of people listen to his music, but 30 years later, people are like, who is that? Who's it? Oh, no rain. What's this? Like, he wrote his words on the face of the day, but he also knew that that had a limit, and I think that's really kind of dark and beautiful. Yeah.
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 So I want to hear yours.
Mm.
All right. Well, it's also kind of heavy, but so my choice, um the song In Heaven, and the book The Fisherman by John Langan. And so a lot of Japanese Breakfast's 2016 debut album Psych Pomp, sorry, deals with grief. And anyone who has read Michelle Zauner's brilliant memoir Crying in H Mart would know she lost her mother to cancer, and she wrote this album in the aftermath. And so In Heaven is a very sad song lyrically, but sonically, we talked about it's very whimsical, has that epic feel to it. And that's why I thought of The Fisherman, which is a novel about two men dealing with grief who take up fishing as a coping mechanism or as a distraction. And they stumble across a sprawling local legend that changes the course of their lives. And so that kind of juxtaposition of grief and mourning, but also like this epic kind of otherworldly, in heaven and thinking about the afterlife, which sort of comes into play in The Fisherman. And lyrics, these lyrics in particular: is there something you can do with yourself as I sift through the debris while I empty every shelf and flounder in the muck that I'll be drowning in so soon? You can't watch me from the banks then, turn to say you're swimming too. So that's sort of reminiscent of creekside horrors of The Fisherman and just reckoning with grief. Um, and so that's my comp: In Heaven and The Fisherman by John Langan. I read alike.
That sounds pretty. I'm emotional just hearing
Yeah, I think I started tearing
I
up.
know.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
I'm emotional just hearing that. Yeah. I didn't know, I mean, I knew the author of that book was a singer, but I didn't realize that that was the same until you pointed it out. So I was really glad to make that connection.
I love that book. Love that book.
Mhm.
It's one of my favorite nonfiction books. But I mean, I get to like, I was like, oh, I listened to the music before
Yes.
the book came out. I get to be one of those
Yeah.
smug assholes. I was like, well, I was a fan since. um, but it's kind of mind-boggling how talented she is to have written such a profoundly beautiful memoir and also be such an incredible musician. It's just like, damn.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
that's a
I
lot of
think if you're a
talent.
good writer, I mean, the potential is there to be a good songwriter. I'd be curious what songs you write.
Yeah.
Sure.
Me? Oh, I have limited musical talent. Um, but maybe in another life.
Funny. When I was reading Crying in H Mart, I remember I messaged you, Rachel, because I did not make that connection. And I was like Googling Michelle Zauner and it kept popping up Michelle Zauner musician. And I'm like, I'm not looking for Michelle Zauner musician. I'm looking for Michelle
I'm looking
Zauner
for the
author. And I clicked the link. I'm like, oh no, they're the same person. Okay.
yeah. She released the book and then shortly after, I believe, released her third album, which I have a read alike for, but it felt like it was so awesome to see her have this like double success
Yeah.
double whammy. Like where, her book was a New York Times bestseller and she also had a very successful album out. So and just it gets me emotional, thinking about what, as we were talking about like Shannon Hoon and leaving your mark, her success with her music really came after she
Mm,
lost her mother. And I think there's just this like sort of like um I don't know, is it fate or is it like some sort of divine sweet afterlife
yeah.
intervention of having her mother kind of guide her.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to think it's
Yeah.
the latter where,
That's sweet.
if there is a heaven.
That's sweet.
Mhm.
But
Rachel!
who's up next? Is it depressing or is it happy?
Me?
Yeah.
We're all trying to hold it together, guys.
I know.
We thought this was gonna be laughs.
We promised you a good time and then we pulled the rug out from under you and we're like, have you thought about death yet
Like
today?
Barbie.
Now the person in that meme isn't eating ice cream. They're like crying in front of the picture
Oh,
now.
no.
They're like, I came here for good times. Why am I crying?
Also, the album is Psychopomp. I just wrote it down wrong in my document, then started questioning myself and everything. It is Psychopomp. Okay.
I will keep the good vibes going with my religious trauma pick.
Yes.
I am talking VBS and Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. VBS is from her home video album, which is, I think, my favorite of hers. Like, it is all songs about her growing up in Virginia. So she's kind of looking back on past relationships, and she grew up evangelical, and she was a really hardcore, like, Christian kid. Um, so I just relate a lot to this album. I also just really love albums where people like look back on a time in their life. Like Noah Kahn did Stick Season, which is like he went back to Vermont and wrote about like being a teenager in Vermont. Um, and so I think these two are a good pairing because they are queer artists talking about religious camps. So I thought just on that fact alone, a good pairing. VBS, for people who are not aware, is Vacation Bible School. I think her version of it, we called it teen camp. Vacation Bible School for us was when like we as the teenagers worked and it was more for like grade school kids. That was like vacation.
That's how it
Okay.
was. Yeah, it's how it was in our like
CCD.
we had
Yeah.
yeah, and we had over the summer it was Vacation
Okay.
Bible School and the teenagers would for some reason
Yeah.
oversee small children and be in charge of teaching them I don't know, Jesus stuff.
The most qualified people, really.
Yeah. Clearly I'd retained a lot of this
Oh
information.
my gosh.
I wasn't just there for the free juice and cookies.
And I would say they're both about religious camp experiences where the narrator is kind of second guessing the religion. In the book Camp Damascus, Rose lives in Neverton, Montana. This is a community that is known for their gay conversion camp, and it boasts like a 100% success rate. And it's one of those books, I don't want to say too much. Like, you kind of just really do need to go into it blind. So I'm kind of dancing around a few things. But Rose starts seeing things she can't explain, and she begins to wonder basically about the truth regarding Camp Damascus. Um, and when we're introduced to Rose, she is a character that's fully integrated into this belief system. Like one of the first interactions we see is someone kind of like, "Oh, you haven't read this book," and she's like, "Oh no, I'm not allowed because it's got magic in it." And they're like, are you serious? And she's like, I can't, like, if I say something that's disrespecting my parents, and like I can't do that. Like, you see the mental blocks that she has there on herself and how she's already like, I can't let myself be that way. Um and Lucy, as the narrator in VBS, is talking about a teen camp experience where she was dating a guy who was not fully bought into the religious experience. She talks about like going back to his cabin, playing Slayer
Yes.
to drown out the noise of his anxiety. And I also love, like, after that lyric, she does like electric guitar, like playing Slayer at
Yeah.
full volume helps to drown it out, and it's like
I think that's so clever, and I think I told you, like, one of the like, there's a layer of clever there that I mean, if unless you know Slayer, you won't know what she's doing with that. With regard to their most popular song or album is South of Heaven, and I was like, "Oh, she's throwing layers in there with that reference. I dig it."
I love her lyricism. Like she says, like, in the evening, everybody went to worship and weep, hands above their heads, reaching for God. Which, if you've ever seen like anything like Jesus Camp, like cry night is a real thing where they'll get you like really tired out throughout the day, and then have you listen to like hours of sermons where you're like just emotionally like on the edge and ready to make like all kinds of crazy decisions about your life. Like you're just like filled with the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
Which is actually just
Yep.
exhaustion.
um and yeah, so she talks about how like she was like super Christian, and she was dating this guy, and then it finally gets to the point where she says, you said that I showed you the light, but all it did in the end was make the dark feel darker than before. And she repeats it again as the song like fades out, the dark feel darker than before. So she's done what she's been conditioned to do, which is like point someone in that direction, but now she's questioning like, is that the highest form of love? Like, did I do the right thing? Like, I'm just going out here pushing this on people and just taking a step back from things and wondering.
While you gave an excellent comp for this, I actually wanna see this as a book too, you know,
Yeah.
like its own
Go.
book, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you gave an excellent comp. There's no doubting Chuck Tingle's the best, um, but I'm like, this is a cool book on its own, you know, like, it could be.
I would like her whole home video album,
Ah,
honestly.
Her songs also build in a really
Yes.
cool way, which I always love. I love a surprise in a song, like where I think I know where it's going, and then you kind of ease into the song, and then all of a sudden it builds, and it's like, I don't know. I think this might be my favorite of her
Yeah.
songs.
I had
Yeah.
fun looking things up, going, "What's VBS?" What is she talking about? So, I learned so much.
She's such a
Yeah.
badass.
Just funny because when she does interviews, she seems just like really quiet and introverted.
Hey, those are the best artists.
It's always it's always the quiet and
As someone
introverted
who taught
ones.
them, I know exactly who. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, then that means they're brilliant." So, my second one is Mouthful of Cavities, and I'm comping it with a book that I just finished, Small Favors by Erin Craig. And Mouthful of Cavities is a good example for me of how varied their music is. That you can always I mean, they have a style largely tied to not only Shannon Hoon's lyricism, but his raspy tenor, which is gorgeous with this. It's a duet. The song is a duet with a girl who used to just kind of hang out at their shows, and she wasn't trying to be a groupie. She was like, "Hey, no, I can sing," and they were like, "Really? Let's make a song and see how you can sing." And she's gorgeous with his raspy tenor in this song, and I love the video because you see her, she's just this kind of little Janis Joplin, humble looking woman who's just got this gorgeous voice. Um, but I'm comping it with that, even though the intention isn't the same, or, lyrically, you can find whatever you want. Or ways to comp it. But I also want to give a shout out to the word fiend, Fiend, because I've always loved that word and he uses it. I get so excited when there's words I like that appear in things. But I'm specifically going to reference, see, I got a lot of fiends around and they're peeking through nothing new. They see you. They see everything you do, see everything on the inside out. And if you haven't read Small Favors, the things that lurk in the woods get into the minds of whoever is in the village and basically make them chaos puppets for their own pleasure. So, they're definitely fiends and they're definitely seeing everything that they do because they're the ones causing this chaos. Um Later in the song, he says, "Oh, please give me a little more and I'll push away those baby blues. Because one of these days this will die. So will me and so will you." There's a lot of death in Small Favors, just so you know. Don't get too attached to
Ooh.
people. I was like, "This is a borderline slasher." He says, "I'll write a letter to a friend of mine. I'll tell him how much I used to love to watch him smile. See, I haven't seen him smile in a little while. Haven't seen him smile in a little while, but I know you're laughing from the inside out." And then he just kind of repeats that. And one of the things that struck me about this as a comp to Small Favors is that, of course, with these things inhabiting the minds of the villagers, they're no longer the people they used to be. They're now these maniacally laughing chaos agents. So they're going around like destroying property and murdering people in the village, all while laughing maniacally. It's really creepy and weird. And I love it so much. But I was like, these lyrics basically sound like Small Favors. So, um, and again, it's just this beautiful melodic duet, but it's these very sinister lyrics. It's just such an interesting juxtaposition.
I love
Oh,
this song. Love this song. I hadn't heard it before you sent
Yeah.
it, and I have been listening to it on repeat. I love it. Um, and I have the book on my TBR. I have it. It's in the stack, but so this is inspiring me to move it up because if any book that's a read I like for
oh,
this song.
I'm glad you like it. It's one of those little hidden gems in there, again, most people just know No Rain. They don't know like that there's such variety,
Yeah.
to what they do. And also, y'all, if you're waiting to read Small Favors like I did, don't do that more. Just read it because I called
It's good,
yeah,
yeah.
I messaged Brian McCauley immediately going, I thought about you a lot while I was reading this book because
Then there's definitely a
I
lot
was
of
like,
blood.
Erin Craig does not spare us feelings. She does not spare us. Yeah, she goes
Ooh.
hard. And I'm like, it reminds me of The Return. It reminds me of my conversation with Brian McCauley and um, just talking about how just the beautiful way that she'll show like someone. This is going to sound terrible. Please do not quote me or arrest me. But like the beautiful way she portrays someone getting murdered. This sounds so terrible.
This is a horror
Yeah.
But,
podcast. We
like,
get
she'll
it.
have,
People
like,
get what you
an
mean.
axe hurling through the air with, like, the fire around them reflecting beautifully off the blade as it, like, lands in the middle of somebody's chest, and I'm like, "What? That was actually really lovely."
Listen, we all gotta go. If I gotta go, I hope it's a axe reflecting the flames, you know what I mean?
There you go.
We'd be so
So,
lucky.
I delivered on the horror part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all, if you hear this song, it
Uh,
doesn't sound like a horror song at all, but this works, I promise you.
Yeah.
I trust you. This my next one is also a little bit like, look, you just gotta trust me on this. Like, I'm right. Just trust me. Um, my next one is Tactics, and Build Your House Around My Body by Violet Cooper Smith. So Tactics is off the 2021 album Jubilee. It's a song about estrangement, about moving a great distance from someone you were once close to. And there's it's a heartbreaking song. There's palpable hurt in the song, but there's also a little bit of like edge to the lyrics. It's not just sad, it's a little bit like you can kind of sense a chip on the shoulder. And Sonically, it's almost like a lullaby, like the way the melody is, kind of repetition. And as always, there's this epic, cinematic, sweeping feel to the song. And Build Your House Around My Body is epic. Like, it's an epic book. If somebody, it's very hard to describe though. Um, it's described as part puzzle, part revenge tale, part ghost story. It spawns over half a century, takes place in Vietnam. The book deals a lot with relationships and mistakes and lies and resentment and estrangement and possession. Um, and it's a lot of like interconnected stories. Um, the lyrics and tactics that remind me specifically of the novel. So say what you want, dose up on fiction, disfigure the truth, while I walk, life beating on, aching for others with love that stops short. Um, it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful song, and it's again the novel is so hard to describe because there's so much going on. I describe it kind of like a speculative fiction visit from the Goon
Oh,
Squad, because it's a lot of interconnected stories, and you're like, oh, I think this fits here and this affects here, and a lot of like beautiful notes about love and also people making bad decisions and how that ripples through time, um, which suits the song and love and loss and moving a great distance from somebody. Yeah, you just have to trust me and listen to the song and read the book and then come and tell me how right I am.
Um, no, I'm slightly obsessed with all of these songs, because it I wasn't saying, "Oh, they sound like the Sundays," to sound like, "Oh, they're" I didn't mean that in like a negative way. I meant that in like a very endearing, I'm newly obsessed kind of way, you know? It's something
Yeah.
that feels to me like a part of something I've always already liked. And so it's like a new thing to add to my repertoire.
yeah.
I'm excited.
I love
I
that.
need to add that to my TBR.
I talk about the book all the time because I just think it's such a like a hidden gem because it's especially among like we mostly are in a horror and gothic space, and I think Build Your House Around My Body is more like speculative literary fiction. But there are some like scary moments in it, and it's just so brilliantly it's written. It's one of those books that you read and you're like, how did she do this? It feels like a magic trick. Like, um, and it's I like that like when you're reading a book and you're like, I bet this person is actually that person, and this is how like
Yeah.
and in the future they connect to that person in the past and all that, and it's just the way everything ties together is so beautiful. And I but again, it's so hard to
Yeah.
describe that when I'm recommending it to people, I'm like, "Well, it's kind of like." No, 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 you just have to read it. So, and now I'm gonna be like, "It's kind of like." Wait, let me just play you the song, and then you'll know.
Oh boy.
So I did feel like I had to do a Boy Genius song,
Makes
Okay.
sense.
because they're having their moment right now, and a lot of people have heard the record. So I am going with True Blue from the record by Boy Genius. And I struggled. I had a lot of pairings for this. I had a hard time, honestly, like paring it down because I could have gone a lot of Rachel Harrison books, and I was like, I'm not gonna do two. Then I was like, I could also do My Best Friend's Exorcism, but I am gonna go Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. This song could be interpreted romantically or about a friendship. Personally, I've always interpreted it in the like friendship sense. So that is why I am going with that. I love Undead Girl Gang. I did a whole episode with BJ Colangelo and we talked about Undead Girl Gang. I've had a lot of people ask for like girly horror recs, like what is a horror book that feels like pink, like girl. I'm like, it is Undead Girl Gang. And that is about a girl named Mila who is best friends with Riley. They consider themselves kind of amateur witches. And at the beginning of the book, Riley dies under mysterious circumstances. And so Mila takes it upon herself to steal a grimoire from a local witch shop and resurrect her best friend because she doesn't believe that this was an accidental death or a suicide. And the problem is when she does manage to bring Riley back, she also brings back 2 mean girls that died earlier that year, also under mysterious
Oh my god,
circumstances.
it's reverse Heathers.
Yeah. And so then there's like rules about this. They're all kind of like zombies, and the spell wears off in like 7 days. Like they have like a proximity thing where like they can't be like so far away from each other. So she's like navigating all these like very like real world things with them. She can't have them like sneaking off, and they're still trying to solve all these murders like on top of all of this thing. And she's also, delaying her grieving process in a way. Like this book made me cry several times. Um because like
How did I
This
not
is
know that?
yeah.
amazing. I've never heard of it either, and I'm like, "I want it today."
It's it's a fun time. I mean, it is, like, sad. Like, the novel opens up, like, at Riley's funeral, and she's like, "I would if you were here, like, you're the person I would, like, make jokes about how stupid this funeral is, and you're not here."
Aw.
I
Wow.
know. I cried. Just
That
My
is some
heart.
accurate stuff though, right? When you think about female friendships and stuff, like, that is so accurate.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, like 2 books about, like, teen girl friendship. Like, I will take on supernatural forces or, like to
Wow.
Yeah.
to fight for you. In the lyric from True Blue, it feels good to be known so well. I can't hide from you like I hide from myself. Yeah.
Oof.
A lot of yeah,
Woof.
I know.
Yeah.
I I just love it. And I mean, the Boy Genius was formed because they were such good friends. Like they connected on tour, and I think it was Julian and Lucy connected first and like talked a lot about like literature and just became really good friends. And then they brought on Phoebe and just realized like they had such a good time together just talking about things and just said like, why don't we make music together? And so, like, it's a band that's truly formed out of this, like, deep friendship and love for each other is, like, the basis of this band, that they're just like, "Why not make music with my best
Yeah.
friends and get to, like, tour with them?"
You can always tell when a band's, like, really enjoying themselves in that way
Mhm.
too. You know, the product is a reflection of that joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they're just like, "We're friends, and so we're gonna make music together." And it's like, just so happens that our voices
Yeah.
sound absolutely fucking gorgeous together. Like, can you the chance what are the
Yeah.
chances?
Yeah, and that they 'cause, like, the first 3 songs, it's kind of them taking the lead on several songs, like, $20 is Julian, Emily, I'm Sorry is Phoebe, and True Blue is Lucy, and they all bring, like, a different flavor and a different style to, like, what they're doing, but even as an album, it's still cohesive, like, the parts where they all work together and contribute, like, different things, like, it's just so good. I did have a bonus comp, which is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which is not horror in any way, but chronicles this, which you don't see often, platonic relationship between a man and woman over several decades. And so many like ups and downs and through betrayals and through grief. And like there's a part in the song where she's like, who won the fight? I don't know. We're not keeping score. Like this friendship is stronger than like the stupid fights that we're in the
Yeah.
moment. Like our friendship is strong enough to persevere through that. So that is a book that is literally just about like friendship, even when the other person is like pushing you away or going through a hard time, like still gonna be here.
Agatha, have you read that one?
No, I
Tomorrow and Tomorrow and
haven't. I got
Tomorrow?
it in my book of the month box when it came out, but I haven't read it yet because I read so much for the
Okay.
show, it makes it hard to get to the other things. So I'm trying to make more time for
I wanna hear what you think about it because there's a lot of, like, cozy gaming elements to
This
it.
is why it was my pick.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to read it. So I've sparsed out my episode time literally in 2024 to allow me time to read some of these other things. So I'm excited now to think about that song in context when I read it. So
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that one yet, either,
y'all,
so
this does not have to be on the episode, but I am newly obsessed with another cozy game, and it's another one that made me want to paint, which is weird because it's not what it's meant to be. But it's called Fashion Dreamer, and you
Ooh, what's
I'm here for
literally,
this?
this. What is this?
it's like paper dolls sort of, or but fashion. Like you just run around. You don't have to develop friendships or any of that bullshit. You just run around and
Fuck
and
friendships,
dress
honestly.
people and make clothes, and the more people you dress, the more points you get, so that the points are what you need to be able to make clothes. So it's just like this perpetual cycle of, I want to make more clothes so I can dress more people, so I can make more clothes so I can dress more people.
This would take over my life. Don't tell me
Like,
what
in
it's
the
called,
2000s
because
when, like,
Oh,
Disney
Fashion
had
Dreamer.
games online, like, that's what
yeah,
I did, like, dressing Lizzie McGuire and stuff.
Oh my god.
yeah, I can't. I will literally, like, not do anything else
I'm
with my
not
life
gonna
if I
lie,
start that
there
game
was
because it
a
sounds
weekend.
right up my alley. It will take over my life for sure, and I do not have the time right now.
I'm gonna say wait, because it took over my life for a couple of days. I've had to put timers on myself.
Yeah, I can't. I have 0
Mhm.
self-control, and I don't know if maybe I have a little bit of an addictive personality, but if I discover something that I like, I w it's extremely hard for me to stop and save it for later. Like, I
Yeah.
won't be able to, like, pick up the game and put it down. I'll be like, "I'm gonna do this for 2 months straight, and then I will never
Well,
pick it up again." But those 2 months will be just, like, lost to me
and there I
forever.
can't help it either because the clothes are all really cute, and you can pick, like, a massive variety of colors and combinations and everything, and you're creative in the way that you put everything together, and I love that creative element, but I'm like, it's making me wanna paint paper dolls, so now that I'm like, "Let me get those paints back out because I just wanna make paper dolls now." You know? I'm, like,
Yeah.
obsessed, and then they also have some Lolita dresses on there, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I'm lost."
Oof. Yeah.
Cozy gaming,
I
ladies and
couldn't get
gentlemen.
into it.
Oh my god, who needs other addictions? Um, well, my next one is a Rachel Harrison comp.
Ooh.
It's Tones of Home, which is off Blind Melon's first album, and I also look, there's a lot of reasons lyrically while this that makes this a relevant connection. But I had fun letting Rachel know that there is also an Axl Rose connection here too, which Axl, like, Welcome to the Jungle is in Black Sheep, which is the book I'm covering.
Yes. Not Welcome
What
to the
is
Jungle.
it? Sweet Child of
What
Mine.
song did
Sorry.
I use?
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet Child
Sorry,
of Mine.
sorry.
I was like, "Welcome to the Jungle, that'd be awesome." I was like, "What?" I was
No,
like, "Wait
no,
a
Sweet
minute."
Child of Mine. You're correct. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
No,
uh,
no.
but Axl Rose and Shannon Hoon actually grew up in the same town, and Axl Rose was in high school with his older sister. And so when he went to LA, Axl Rose and like it's like, sure, come sing on Don't Cry and be in the video. And it is amazing how much the raspy tenor of Shannon Hoon works so beautifully with Axl Rose's voice. And I'm like, how did these two boys come out of this tiny Indiana town? You know?
What's in the
Yeah,
water?
it's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So there's that connection in addition to lyrical connection. It's just so
Yeah.
many layers. So let me pull the lyrics up. So Tones of Home and Black Sheep connect to me because Black Sheep, for those of y'all who don't know, I can't believe there's anybody who wouldn't know, but just in case, Vesper is someone who escaped her tiny town and the religious cult that was there, and her family and everything, and just kind of went to live out a normal life, sought out something else, and gets drawn back home um, for a wedding. There's a tiny part of her that's also a bit homesick. Um, so she's curious. She could have just ignored the wedding, but there's that part in all of us, your tone of home, if you will, that kind of draws you back even when you don't want to go back. So that connected to me with Tones of Home by Blind Melon. Um, It starts right out the gate with, "What do you think they would say if I stood up and walked away? Nobody here really understands me, and so I'll wave goodbye. I am fine." Um,
Very Vesper.
I'm fine, it's fine.
Peace out. Bye. Nobody
Yeah.
gets me.
And then later on in the song, it says, "All my friends patronize me," and in the context of Black Sheep, I'll say family. "All my friends patronize me and say, 'Yo, hey boy, have you found what you're looking for?' It seems they don't really know me because it's here and it's what they can't see." I know. And I'm like, "Oh, that's the summary of Black Sheep."
Yeah.
That's the book. It's like so, I just again, lyrically, I love the way Shannon Hoon strings words together, and I just really love the admittance of that tiny bit that still pulls you back even when you don't wanna admit that there's a part of you that gets pulled back, but then you're also just completely independent and free with, "Look, y'all don't get me, I'm out," you know? So
The video is amazing too. The video is so 90s that it's just like the
yeah.
best. It's like such a like sip of
Yeah.
nostalgia,
Especially for me.
and it's so cool.
Who was in those pits, those mosh pits, yep.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Does that see, and I know because I'm in my little dress with my little earrings and my gray streaks running through my hair, and I'm like, "Yeah, girl was in the pits." Girl, I had
I believe it. I mean, I can
I
see
go
it.
to, like, metal shows
Doesn't
now, and I'm like, "No,
surprise
thank
me.
you."
yeah, I mean, we would come out dripping in everyone's sweat. I mean, not just your own, but everybody else's sweat too, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
I did I was in a mosh pit once, and I did go crowd surfing at,
Whoa.
the Taste of Chaos tour in Asbury Park, which was The Used and My Chemical
Oh my
Romance.
gosh, that is
'Cause I was an emo
that is
kid.
iconic too. More
Mhm.
Rachel
Somebody
lore.
poked me in the eye, and my contact came out, and
While
so
you
I was,
were
like, walking
Crowd
around the rest of
surfing?
the night like this. Yeah. Well, I, like, came
Oh.
down and
Oh.
somebody I mean, it's amazing that nothing worse happened, but, I wonder if it's still in my eye if that thing happened where, like, my contact rolled into the
Oh,
back of my
lordy.
head,
Oh my
and I'll
gosh. Well,
find
so
it
you know how
someday.
fun this is.
You're welcome for that. Um, but yeah, that was the only time I ever really got
Well, and to
into
be
it,
fair, I
but
wasn't doing the hardcore, like, let me slam into everybody kind of thing. It was like the pit was
Mhm.
everybody, and then the moshing would happen in tiny circles within the pit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to
okay.
like, me and my friends were always just in the middle of everything with I mean, you're still moving around because the whole crowd is like a wave, an ocean wave. So, you're still hanging out. It's so much fun. Oh my god. Youth.
Yeah, I couldn't do it
No.
now. Now like, there's, like, somebody who's standing a few feet from me. I'm like, "Whoa,
Exactly.
back
I'm like,
up."
I don't want people sweat on me anymore. Something about all of that has
Yeah,
changed.
personal space. Yeah, or it's so loud in here. Everything's loud. Everything is too loud. Even in restaurants, I'm like, "Can you
No, that's
turn it
for
down?"
real.
Can't hear myself think.
That's for real. I'm putting a call out for like stores to even calm the shit down with music.
Yeah, yeah. At a show, like, if it's loud, it's like, "I came here for this."
Mm.
Just out and about, like, "We don't need this. It's unnecessary."
Well, that was my comp and it was all good fun. And, I hope that y'all enjoyed that third and final pick.
Yeah.
I I did, but I'm biased, so like, great pick.
Wow.
Um, so my 3rd and final, um, Soft Sounds from Another Planet, the song, and then Night's Edge by Liz Caron for the book. So I just finished Night's Edge like a week ago, and I absolutely loved it. It had been on my TBR for a while, and I finally got to it. Um, I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to read it. The sequel, First Light, comes out, I think, in April. Um, but Night's Edge is very original,
Mhm.
contemporary take on
Yeah.
vampires that delves into a toxic, codependent mother daughter relationship, which I don't think I've come across vampire in vampire literature before. That specific mother daughter tension. Um, it's very nuanced and it's a very atmospheric book. It takes place I want it not in Arizona. I always confuse New Mexico and Arizona because I'm from New Jersey and I'm like, it's,
The
down,
desert.
it's hot there.
Listen, anybody
I
outside of
believe it's
Texas is
Yeah,
gonna
I
Arizona.
know
believe
what you're
it's
talking
Arizona.
about. Other
All right.
states.
Um, there's cacti, there's the desert. It's like bright and hot, and you can feel like
Mhm.
it's. I'm in Western New York in the middle of winter, and I'm like, whew, it's hot because the way her prose is very strong. That it's very atmospheric. You know what I'm talking about. And Soft Sounds from Another Planet is the title track from Japanese Breakfast's second studio album. And it's just this like mesmerizing, lush, gorgeous, heartbreaking song. And all the lyrics, like, this one's so perfect that I'm just like smug about it. I'm like real proud of myself. um, like every lyric, I'm like, yes, that fits. Um, it's like about enduring hurt for those that you love. Um, these lyrics in particular, in search of a soft sound from another planet, in search of a quiet place to lay this to rest, striving for goodness while the cruel men win, there's no part of me that can feel or hear it. And I feel like those lyrics perfectly reflect protagonist Mia's emotional conflict in the novel as she's trying to take care of her mother, but also start to live her life for herself. Um, and I love the book. I'm really excited for the sequel. And yeah, I
I
recommend
didn't even
both.
know about this book too. So I love getting new titles from these comps and then
Yeah.
yes.
Adding to your TBR that slowly mocks you from the corner of your office. Same. Um, yeah, I was very intrigued by this one for a long time. And I was really like, I get a lot of blurb books and
Mhm.
stuff. So I had like like a week opening in my schedule. I was like, finally,
Yeah.
finally. Um, and yeah, it's really special. It's really original. Um, and just the mother-daughter relationship is
Mhm.
so you're equally like frustrated with the mother but also love
Yeah.
her and like it's just very um it's just very like profound book but also like really cool and really
Yeah.
entertaining. So and it's hard to do something new in the vampire space. So I really commend Liz Karen for that.
That
She's very
is
talented.
absolutely I'm so intrigued. That is new. I'm trying to think of any other example. I was like maybe in YA fiction, but no, I'm not even finding it there that I can think of anyway. I mean,
Mhm.
And the vampire lore specifically in this book is like it's a
yeah.
virus. Um and so it's not like they're not like vampires. It's not like um you know Edward
Yeah.
Cullen or Dracula or anything like that. It's like it's like a different
Mm.
take on it. So and I love like I've been really into like contemporary fiction and I just love that it like takes place now and like it feels very like this could happen and
Yeah.
um yeah, and the song lyrically was just such a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Um yeah. So that's my final pick.
That's a
That's
good call.
such
Third
a
and
good
final
one.
pick.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something to True Blue that I forgot to like.
No, circle back.
Okay, circling back. I wanted to compare it to a song from her home video album, Brando, which is another one of her like well-known songs, but it's about her hanging out with this like crappy guy who's got this like big personality and like is into like old movies and thinks he's like so different and like kind of just sees her as like a receptacle for his taste, like doesn't really see her as her own person.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I mean. We all know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
um but in the chorus of that one, she says, "All I need for you to admit is that you never knew me like you thought you did.
Mm.
Like you thought you did." And so compared to like, it feels good to be known so well, I can't hide from you like I can hide from myself.
He really knows how to do the gut
Well,
punch.
and again, something that's so relatable and identifiable, like we as you said, we all know, like, what that is, yeah.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, we all picked like really great lyricists. I'm like, yeah, we're all readers. Like, we're all like nerds. Of course, we're like, if you are the lyrics to this song.
Oh my gosh. Well, and they kick-ass jams. These are kick-ass jams too,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not just great lyrics, it's kick-ass jams and great book comps, and what a good episode. You had such a good idea.
Thank you. I was just coming up with ideas for us to hang out, really.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Well, do we have any chilling obsessions?
I do. Do you, Rachel?
I
Well, I
do. You
wanna know
can go
yours.
first.
I wanna know yours, yeah.
All right. This, we briefly talked about fashion. I don't know if that made it to the episode. If not, you can cut this out.
If it doesn't
But
make it, just so
my
y'all
chilling
know, we talked
obsession.
fashion.
Yeah. My chilling obsession this time of year, I don't know if it's this way for y'all, but I tend to like get just a smidge of the seasonal depression. And so I try not to get into anything too heavy at this time of year. Because I feel like it easily weighs me down. Where if like in the summer I watch a scary movie, I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, sunshine. So I my chilling obsession, I'm really into the mob wives aesthetic, which it might not be. I mean, it's chilling in the sense that like maybe these women shouldn't be married to the mob, but um, I I've been out of like I've always really loved fashion, like especially when I was like a kid. Um, but I think the combination of like being broke in my 20s and then having to dress for jobs I didn't really care about, and now having a job where I don't have to leave my house, I've sort of like on a day-to-day basis stopped caring about what I look like and what I wear and what I put on. And um I've been getting back into like I want to take fashion risks. I like it matters what I put on in the morning. Like I want color in my wardrobe. Um and so I naturally kind of been gravitating toward like texture and animal prints, and now just so happens this mob wives aesthetic is back. So I've been really into it. I've been like anytime it comes up on my feed or whatever, there's articles about it. I think it's really cool, and I think it's fun to have that kind of fashion inspiration and to try and challenge myself to take risks, and to when I get dressed to go out feel cool and fun and like yeah, and a little bit wacky and kind of not care how I'm perceived and just put on what makes me feel. I mean, I again, as a Jersey girl, I appreciate that like it's coming back in vogue to look tacky. So I just need to like jump on it when I can and just try and maybe make it my thing. So that's been my chilling obsession is like now I'm like, ooh, feathers, faux fur,
I love that.
very spooky.
I didn't know it was
I
coming back, but apparent I
the
saw Grace.
the TikTok teens are
Okay.
talking about it.
Okay, see, I'm not on TikTok because I leave that to the kids, but the kids meaning anyone that's under 40. But but I saw Grace Reynolds post about it. She's a horror poet for y'all don't if y'all don't know, she's this incredible horror poet who's done like this wonderful like mid-century horror poetry, and it's just really cool stuff. But of course I was like, of course she's into it. I didn't know it was a thing. That's amazing.
I
Yeah.
love your outfit picks, though. I always think they're like
Oh, thanks. Well, because I have like 4 occasions every year where I leave the house, and so I like can put on cute outfits at StokerCon because
yeah.
it's very low maintenance. But on a day-to-day basis, I want to break out of the stained sweatpants, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Should we all roll up to StokerCon with like furs and like cigarette holders and like bright red lipstick?
Absolutely.
Faux gold jewelry, like the chunky Snakeskin boots,
We're not
yeah.
to play Mario Kart.
And then we can retake our Kiss Our Grits Kiss Your Grits picture, Kiss
Yeah.
Your Grits, whatever.
Yeah.
That picture we took at Stoker, nobody
Yes.
pulls off, I mean, we all love black tulle, but no one wears it quite as well as Rachel, and I'm like, "Damn, those are gold."
Oh.
Uh,
Uh,
I have a brand new, this is a chilling obsession as of, like, 10 hours ago. I don't know what time I did this in last night, but, um I had the pleasure of chatting with Sally Thorne last night. For anyone outside the romance community, she's very famous for The Hating Game, which was her debut romance novel that also has become a Netflix movie. And it's just everyone in Romance Landia knows her other books, but The Hating Game is what she's most famous for. I've not read those books, not because I'm too cool for school, but because I just haven't. But what I did read that I loved and wanted to interview her for was Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. And I was talking to her about it last night. And before we even had a chat, I was like, wait a minute, before we introduce you, I have to know what's behind you. And she had this enormous, sprawling, like, took up way more space than the video behind her, like, allowed in the screen, Gothic dollhouse.
Yeah. I saw the picture you
Oh my
posted. Mhm.
gosh. It's like the whole wall, and she's been working on it for well over 10 years, and
Oh my
so,
god.
like, the details inside, like, the library is full of individual little books, like, there's like, the laboratory has, like, little tiny candles and, like, it's called Blackthorn Manor. She gave it its own IG. So it has its own
Oh.
Instagram account, and it's Blackthorn with an E at the end of Thorn, Blackthorn Manor, and I am obsessed because she showed it to me before we did the interview. I was like, "I have to see inside."
Yeah.
She she opened up the roof and the doors and everything. It has a garden. It has a tree house that's a separate element of the dollhouse, like a tree house in the garden. It's this massive gothic, sprawling, wondrous, dark, creepy miniature world, and I love it so much. And it
I just pulled it up.
isn't it amazing?
Sorry.
And this is a project, this project that was personal to her and had nothing to do with anything except something she loved and wanted to do, inspired Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match. She was like, "I'm trapped inside with COVID. I'm deep in my dollhouse world. Let me write a book." And then she just wrote the book. Like, I mean, it's amazing. That
Oh my god,
Yeah.
there's a carousel horse. Oh, that's like my
Yes.
thing. That's like the thing. If there's stained glass behind a carousel horse, that is like the most specific, like niche obsession that I have that I don't
Do you
have an
see why
outlet
I'm
for.
obsessed? I'm like, this has
Oh,
been an obsession of mine, not even a whole 24 hours, but I am so obsessed.
Yeah.
oh my god. The
Yes.
details.
So,
Oh.
if you all are interested in what you find when you visit her IG for Blackthorn Manor, you will like Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I know. I know. She gave me a
It's
tour on the video because I was like, I can't talk to you unless I have until I see all these
Tell
things.
me everything.
And so
Yeah.
she switched her video around so that she could, like, take me in through the house, and I was so
oh my god.
obsessed.
Wow.
That's not yeah, can I change mine? That's mine now too. What about you, Stephanie? Have you had a chilling obsession?
Yeah, I've been on like a nonfiction kick lately.
Ooh,
I feel like that helps my reading slumps when they come on to read nonfiction about like a random thing.
yeah,
So I have two quick books. One of them was Fashion Killer, back to fashion. Fashion Killer, How
yeah,
Hip Hop Revolutionized High Fashion.
yeah,
And this sent me
Ooh.
down so many rabbit holes. Like I learned about Dapper Dan and just all these iconic moments like Snoop Dogg wearing Tommy Hilfiger when he performed on SNL was like a giant launching point for the brand, and Tommy Hilfiger himself was like, "Oh my gosh, like I've made it," you
yeah,
know. Um so it was a lot of that and just learning so much history about this subject I had never like considered.
yeah,
But I got that one through Libro FM, and then on NetGalley, I read The Age of Magical Overthinking: Notes on Modern Irrationality by Amanda Montell. I love Amanda Montell. I loved Word Slut, which is about like the feminist like linguistics and language, and then cultish I liked, and I do use a lot of that like when I'm talking to people who
Mm.
I grew up with. So it's like I always like learn a lot from her. But this was kind of our cognitive biases. Like each chapter was a different cognitive bias, but kind of with a pop culture like internet trend. So like the first chapter is like the Halo effect and fandoms and Taylor Swift and like why psychologically we have these patterns, and confirmation biases and the IKEA effect, and just learning about all these like psychological phenomenons and like thought patterns we could fall into was really interesting.
I love hyper niche things like that. And
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I do love nonfiction, because they can just deep dive into the most what the fuck, like, is this kind of thing. And then you find out there's like an entire world, a huge backstory, and it's every page of the 500-page book is riveting, because you're just sitting here thinking like, this is the most hyper niche thing I could ever think of, and I'm so here for it. So
That's well, through Libro FM I do the like ALC like ARC program,
mm.
and it is always like the most random like assortment of books at the beginning of every month that you get to choose from, but I'll always grab like very random nonfiction books. So like in my library I have a book on like the J. Crew empire, like the rise and fall of prep, and like a book on periods
Yeah.
historically. I'm like, why not? So those are there. Those
I
are my
love that.
next like
Yeah.
Do you know Caitlin? Is it Caitlin Morin? No, I'm forgetting her last name. But she does that ask like she does that oh shit. Ask a Mortician
yes.
channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah, I've
books
read her
Oh,
books.
her books are fabulous and hyper niche like that too. And I just
Yeah.
love them so much.
It's time for the second tradition of the show, which is a final girl song on this very already musical show.
I can't wait to hear y'all's.
I feel like I had to pick a Japanese breakfast song because
Yes.
Mhm.
obviously. But then I was like, I'm pretty sure I already picked a Japanese breakfast song. I think when we did our Twilight Zone episode, I
Yeah,
think
you
maybe
did.
I did. But I think I picked Savage Good Boy. Um, but fuck it, I'm gonna do another Japanese breakfast song. I'm gonna do Everybody Wants to Love You, because I feel like it's like another like very like this one is one of her like more like it's kind of like a sexy flirty song, and it's like really upbeat, and I can just picture like if I were a final girl running for my life, I feel like everybody wants to love me. I could just hear this song playing as I evade the killer and ride off into the sunset. So that's mine.
Oh. I think I already frightened Rachel and Stephanie with mine, but I'm picking a Blind Melon song obviously as well, and I'm picking "Skinned," which is their bluegrass song about Ed Gein, and so because I think it's hyper creepy when you have like songs like kind of bluegrass songs like that in a tense moment on screen.
Yeah.
And so if someone's running for their life and someone's singing like, "I'll make a shoehorn out of your shin, I'll make a lampshade of durable skin," like, it's pretty scary.
Yeah. That's very
So,
scary.
so yeah, bluegrass with, Ed Gein
Woohoo.
inspiration. There you go.
I love the vibes.
Yeah, and it's catchy as hell.
Okay, well, if I'm following the pattern, I think I am gonna do a Boy Genius song. Um, I think I'm gonna go with Satanist
As you do.
by Boy
Perfect.
Genius. And I would say this is like final girl pairing. Like you are grabbing the person's hand, like, will you be a Satanist with me?
Oh,
Sleep in cars and kill the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
oh my yep.
I
You know
love it.
what? Actually,
And it like every lyric changes. It's like, will you be a nihilist with me if nothing matters? Man,
Yeah.
that's a relief.
that's real.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're so good.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
Not to brag, I did see them in concert for this album. They played the whole thing and like their EP.
How fun. I love when super things like that happen.
Yeah. This was a good time.
It was. I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
I hope listeners were able to cry and laugh and
And add some new songs to your playlist.
and TBRs. And if anyone else has any read-alikes or listen-alikes, like please let us know. We would love to hear
Yes,
them.
I would love to hear.
Rachel, when is So Thirsty gonna be out in the world?
September 10th, and I can't show other people and I can't send it to other people, but I can show you the cover and have you
Okay, we'll
react.
react right now.
And let's see, where is it?
I hate that there's moments of the video freezing while she's pulling it up. I'm like, wait,
No,
don't freeze right now.
This can't happen right now.
No, I'm just taking forever to find it. All right.
Oh
my
my
God.
God. I
The
love
font?
that.
You can't say anything specific about
I will not
it,
say
but
anything specific about it. I love it so
I'm
much.
glad that you
Oh
like
my
it.
God.
I'm seeing the little details. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So that's a tease for listeners where they can hear your reaction to the cover reveal. I don't know when the cover is gonna we're gonna officially reveal the cover, but probably I'm thinking like late March, early April. And it's out September 10th, but available for pre-order now. And
That is an act of genius. Whoever did that cover deserves all the work.
I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, and I should have thought of a listen alike for So Thirsty, but Rolling Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction is a
There
good
we
place
go.
to start if you want to get in the vibe. But yeah, thank you for coming up with this genius idea and for new books for my TBR, new music for my playlist.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
yeah.
thank you to both of you for doing this. And I love how much thought you both put into this. Like you really took it seriously and you're like, these lyrics to this book and like hear me out. And that always makes it so fun.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I have to just do this. I put everything else aside.
And I was like, everything needs to be quiet. I need to have no other tabs open. I need to like listen in the dark and like stare at my bookcase and like let things come to me. I think that comes from the fact that like we are of an age where you had to like burn CDs and make mixtapes. So you really need to put thought into it. It's different than just putting songs on a playlist. It's a different thing to make something physical.
Absolutely. I miss physical media.
So,
sort of like, I miss phone calls with cool people. So that's why this is fun. That's what this feels like. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And where can people find you all online?
I'm at Rachel Harrison's Ghost on Instagram, TikTok, and eventually I'll post more on Threads, but I'm Rachel Harrison's Ghost there too.
I am She Wore Black Podcast on Instagram and Threads and Facebook. I'm looking just to make sure I'm not wrong because I'm having that moment. And of course, you can find all podcast related things at sheworeblackpodcast.com. Yay.
Books in the Freezer is a bi-weekly podcast. We post episodes every other Tuesday. You can find us on Instagram and Threads and TikTok at Books in the Freezer, or you can send us an email at booksinthefreezer@gmail.com. Show notes for this episode and all previous episodes will be at booksinthefreezer.com, where there will be a list of the books mentioned, and for this episode, yes, the songs mentioned as well. Do you know what else you can find while you're checking out the show notes? You can find several ways to support the podcast, including buying merch, using affiliate links, and of course, our Patreon community. There are 3 levels of support with all kinds of different perks. So if that interests you, be sure to check that out at patreon.com/booksinthefreezer. It would also mean a lot if you would take the time to leave a review on the podcast app you're using. So, like Apple Podcasts, just do a star rating and a quick, even one sentence review is a big help. And if you are using Spotify to listen to this app, it's very simple. Once you've listened to an episode, you have the option to just leave a star rating. So, big thank you to all of you who have done that already. It is a huge help, and ratings help the podcast grow and gain visibility. So, thank you so much. I'm Stephanie. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, see you next time on Books in the Freezer.